Imagine waking up one afternoon to find that the two players who defined the last 15 years of football have vanished. A world where both Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar decide simultaneously that they've given everything they have left. For a generation of fans, a Saturday without one of these names on a team sheet feels like a break in the natural order. They haven't just been players, they've been the primary characters in the sport's global narrative. On one side, we lose the personification of work as an obsession. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't just participate in the sport, he attempted to solve it through a relentless, mechanical application of effort. On the other, we lose the embodiment of play. Neymar treated the most high-pressure matches like a game in the street, relying on a fearless, spontaneous imagination that felt impossible to coach. If they both left today, the internet wouldn't just be reacting to the loss of two celebrities. It would be mourning the end of a decade-long struggle between two conflicting ideas of how a person reaches the top of their field. Ronaldo's rise was built on the conviction that the human body is a piece of hardware that can be optimized. To him, talent was merely a starting point that had to be refined through strict engineering. This chart visualizes the outlier data that defined his career. By systematically regulating his sleep cycles, his caloric intake, and his recovery periods, he eliminated the biological inefficiencies that usually slow a player down. The result is a career arc that ignores the typical physics of aging. While most players see their production drop sharply after 30, Ronaldo's output remains steady, effectively buying himself an extra 5 years of peak performance. But this optimization came with a cost. It required a life of extreme repetition, thousands of hours spent in empty gyms, repeating the same movements until his reactions became automatic. On the pitch, this translated into a style based on overwhelming physical force. He didn't need to trick his opponents. He simply outran, outjumped, and outlasted them through pure, calculated preparation. He proved that if you are willing to sacrifice enough of your life to the process, you can manufacture greatness through sheer force of will. Neymar's path represents the opposite philosophy. In South America, the concept of joga bonito suggests that football is not a problem to be solved, but an art form to be expressed. This wasn't learned in a high-tech lab. Neymar's instincts were sharpened in the favelas and on the concrete courts of Brazil, where the lack of space forces a player to find creative solutions that a textbook could never teach. Look at the difference in movement patterns. While a tactical system relies on straight lines and predictable passes, Neymar's game is built on erratic, looping vectors that break defensive structures by doing exactly what logic says he shouldn't. Even when he moved to the rigid defensive leagues of Europe, he kept that street-bred defiance. He treated the ball like an extension of his own personality, refusing to let tactical discipline stifle his imagination. Neymar stands as the evidence that imagination is its own kind of power, and that joy can be just as effective as discipline. Now imagine the final seconds of their hypothetical farewell match. The game ends, and the referee blows the whistle on two of the most scrutinized careers in history. You see the fans of the machine, those who were inspired by the early mornings and the 1,000-calorie tracked meals, standing in tribute to the man who showed them what human discipline can achieve. Beside them, the fans of the magician weep for the loss of the flair. They are thanking the player who reminded them that, at its core, this is still just a game meant to be enjoyed. In this moment, the impulse to debate who was better finally loses its energy. As they stand together, the focus shifts from what separated them to the simple fact that we will never see these two extremes occupy the same pitch again. They were polar opposites in style, but they were identical in the weight they carried. For 15 years, both men acted as the singular hope for their respective nations, absorbing a level of global expectation that few others could survive. Football will continue to find new stars, but the sport will feel different without the gravitational pull these two exerted on every match day. We are moving into a future where the team system often overshadows the individual. Their real contribution isn't found in the trophy room. They've left behind two distinct, proven paths for any young player watching from the sidelines today. They've framed the ultimate choice for the next generation. Do you reach for the top through the grueling, calculated path of unyielding discipline? Or do you trust in the power of fearless expression? Both paths lead to the same destination, but they require very different types of people. Which one of these journeys spoke to you more? Tell us why in the comments.